When this comes out of the pack, it's basically like that. So we've got the black surround around the clear outer. If you try to push that over like that now, you'll notice that because it's got these clips on the inside there, it's going to be pretty difficult to get over there. So you separate off the black surround, so that actually then opens that then is easier to open up. Through there like that, push down, and then slide the cap over the top. If it hasn't been done like that, or if you try to do it with just the black surround around it, it makes that job a lot harder, and it's a lot of fiddling around. And just draw it through. Okay. And we'll adjust the dose once we know what the animals weigh. One of the other things that people have found handy for not necessarily having to hang this around your neck all the time is to have some poly pipe attached to the crush. So you can actually pop your gun in the poly pipe so it sits there and doesn't bash the needle around, so you're not holding this all the time, running around with needles exposed and all those sorts of things. But most guys are just going to poke this through here, tie it up and stick it around their neck. What people will tend to do as well is to unscrew that, put the needle on and screw that over the top. That isn't the way it goes. It's already set with a brass insert into the end of the gun there, or into the end of the connector, and the needle. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but you get it if you try and get it reasonably straight, and it just screws with finger pressure in. You don't usually need to use pliers or whatever. So during use, it might mean that it ends up being a bit tighter. To get it off, if finger pressure doesn't do it, then a pair of pliers makes it a bit easier, makes it a bit safer. So just getting needles out of the way. We don't want to get needle stick injuries and those sorts of things either.
Okay, so we're here to apply Cydectin LA. So the application method now is to go in the back of the ear, close to the head, in this region here. So if you feel the anatomy of the ear here, you can run your finger down and you'll feel there's a ring of cartilage at the end of the ear. And just below that is quite a large soft spot. So it's quite a large blood vessel that runs along the top of that soft spot, another one along the bottom. And what we're aiming for is this big soft spot here at the base of the ear. Okay, so it's a simple case, get in nice and close to the animal. Don't want to be too close so she can bump you or you accidentally jab her. Grab the ear and you've got the soft spot there. Needle in at about a 45-degree angle, push it in, finger on for a couple of seconds afterwards, and she's done. The extended persistence claims with Cydectin LA mean a real difference to producers. Now that we have a claim for 112 days of protection against osteotargia, it means that producers can treat less often, so there's less handling, fewer treatments, and it means that animals can go for extended periods without suffering the damage that parasites can potentially cause. Now, when that comes to osteotargia, being the most damaging worm in southern Australia, that can mean real production benefits. Similarly, for ticks, we now have a claim for at least 51 days, preventing the development of viable adult females, and also 65 days prevention of egg production. So for the next nearest competitor, injectable, with 28 days, for a tick control program, you may have to treat animals on a monthly basis. Whereas by preventing egg lay for at least 65 days, it means we have an extra 5-6 weeks that we can go without having to treat those animals. So we're reducing the amount of mustering required, reducing the handling stress, and reducing the cost of treating animals.
We've got a lot of high worm burden areas in Tasmania. We've used our product long-acting injection for cattle, especially on King Island, the Circular Head region and northeast Tasmania. Basically, those areas, farmers were having to use a pour-on, long-acting pour-on drench like Cydectin pour-on 3 to 4 times during the winter. Now they're using in weaners, long-acting, 1 dose in June, and that's getting them right through to the spring. We've got one producer on King Island who traditionally used to use 4 drenches a year. They use Cydectin long-acting for the last 3 years religiously on 4,000 weaners, and that's been administered in June, and it's got them right through to the spring. So they've saved themselves all the labour and the cost of 3 drenches during that winter period. Cydectin long-acting injection for cattle has a perfect fit for a weaner operation growing out calves. It's not a product designed for cows or animals that can be turned over reasonably quickly with a long withholding period, but that long protection period gets those cattle through that crucial stage. We had an interesting case last year. We had a producer on King Island who was using Doramectin, Dectomex, as his injectable product choice for his weaners. He won a Cydectin 200ml long-acting injection at an in-store day, and basically has gone on to use this constantly in his herd. He bailed me up last year and told me the whole story. He was been a Dectomex fan since the product was released, and is now wholly and solely Cydectin long-acting. So another success story.